Let's take a look at this present value problem. Your oldest daughter is about to start kindergarten at a private school. Tuition is $10,000 per year, payable at the beginning of the school year. You expect to keep your daughter in private school through high school. You expect tuition to increase at a rate of 5% per year over the 13 years of her schooling. What's the present value of the tuition payment if the interest rate is 5% per year? Okay, now, you might be able to solve this one without even doing the math. And the reason is $10,000 that increases 5% per year and the interest rate is 5% means that the present value is always 10,000. So you could take the 10,000, multiply it times 13 in your head and you'll get 130,000. But let's work through the math, and I would probably do this one using the present value. Let me show you how I'd set it up. First thing I'd do is I'd lay down the years. So we've got payments 0 through 12, 0 meaning right now because they tell us the first one's occurring at the beginning. And the interest rate is 5%, and I'm going to prove how we got that formula. Well, we've got to calculate the payments. First one is 10,000. Now the next one is simply the 10,000 times 1.5, right? It's going to increase 5% every year. So if we just put those in, you know, you could put 1 in and then copy down. And you will get that range of values. Now, let me just format that so we don't need the dollar sign everywhere. And then you could use the net present value function. Now, let me show you how I work this one. What I'll do is I'll start it again from scratch. Type equal NPV, hit the left parentheses, call up our pop-up, which gives us the variables. It says where's the rate. Rate's given right there in cell B28. And then we've got to give it the values. But remember, NPV assumes the first value occurs at the end of the first year. So we have to skip the first one. And then we've got to add in to the formula the fact that there's an initial 10,000 payment. So I'm going to then add in the initial outflow. And when I do that, I get 130,000, which is what I expected. Now, that's the easiest way I know how to solve it, or that's the way I would solve it. But you could also solve this with formulas. So here's what we do. We know that present value is equal to the future value divided by 1 plus the interest rate raised to the power of n, the number of periods. So in the first case, I've got $10,000 divided by 1 plus 5% raised to a power of 0. Power of 0 always equals 1. So $10,000 divided by 1 gives us 10,000. And now I'll just show you that I've worked this one ahead of time too. In the second year, I'm going to take that $10,500. Okay, so that's the $10,000 times 1.5% because we expect tuition to go up every year. And I'm going to divide it by 1 plus 5% or 1.05 raised to the power of 1. And that gives us $10,000. And if you were to then copy that all the way down, you'll see that the present value of all of those is always $10,000. Again, I'm going to sort this here. And then we simply sum them. And so when we sum those individual present value amounts, oh, by the way, I should format this one that way, it also equals 130,000. So here's two ways to calculate this with math, and then of course if you could do it in your head, that's a third way as well.